Natali?
You have everything we need?
I think so, yep. I'm ready to make our wild mushroom tart.
All right, let's head to the kitchen then and put it together.
All right, let's go.
All right, Chef Greg, what are we making today?
We're making a wild mushroom puff pastry tart.
Beautiful ingredients.
Yes.
Tell me about these mushrooms that you have and what we're working with.
I have a selection of wild foraged mushrooms. They were just picked from the forest yesterday. So we're using some chanterelles, some maitake, and some oyster mushrooms. You can really use whichever whatever you like,
Okay.
whatever you'd have on hand. But this is a really classic dish. It has a few pieces to it, but it's actually very easy. We're just going to make a saute with the mushrooms and some shallots, and we're going to make some puff pastry shells. All this is a frozen puff pastry sheet that we've cut into 4 pieces. We'll egg wash it.
And then what do you start on while I do this?
So what I'm going to do is get our pan warmed up. We are going to start some shallots and let those cook kind of slow. We want them to get soft. I like to use a combination of butter and olive oil in this recipe because mushrooms love to just sponge all of that up. So if the pan ever looks dry, add a little more butter. Okay, these are egg washed. Those look beautiful. They'll go into a 400-degree preheated oven.
Okay.
They take about 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay.
We just want to watch them kind of close.
So what size do we want the mushrooms? How should we chop them? What's the best way?
I like to leave them really chunky, so just split them in half. Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect. The little teeny guys, I would leave whole. These little buttons,
Okay.
they're just delicious whole.
And these you just pull apart off of here?
Pull these down just into similar sized pieces. So I'll start on the shallots.
He's faster than I am.
Once you hear it sizzling like that, it's ready. We'll throw all of our shallots in.
So why did you decide to feature Oregon mushrooms?
Because they're freaking awesome. They're one of my favorite things. Absolutely one of my favorite things to work with here in Oregon. And all of the chefs that I know, we all just wait every year for them to come in. They really signal fall to us, and we can use them 100 different ways, and then some.
Tell me about all the different varieties and what we're using.
So today we're using the chanterelles. Chanterelles are famous in many dishes. They're great in pasta and risottos. I'm also using some oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms have a little bit of almost an ocean type flavor, just this background. Many of them come from the forests along the coast. And then on the end here are maitakes, and those are prized as well. They have a very woodsy flavor. Today we're just using the maitake, the oyster, and the chanterelle.
Well, it's a beautiful combination.
So all of these will be in market of choice throughout the fall, and many more. We'll see whatever is available. Each year is a little bit different, so it's always just the thrill of the hunt.
But this is a fun season for you. It's exciting to see what comes in and what you can make with it.
Absolutely, yes. The fall harvest season, we use all of these types of things available to us, especially in our holiday menus. The shallots have a little bit of color to them. This is really what you want. You just start to see a little bit of a golden brown go in there. So we're going to add our garlic. So we're just gonna let that cook for just a second. Hit it with just a pinch of salt and pepper. And then the mushrooms can go in on top of that.
Start
Yep.
setting them in.
Just go ahead and throw them in. If your pan starts to get a little dry, add just a little more butter. So
Look at the colors. It's so beautiful.
yeah, at this point, really, we're just going to add some cream and some cheese to it, a little bit of sherry to deglaze the pan. And you could toss it with gnocchi or some pasta and serve it just as is. It's a vegetarian dish. Serve it over some steak. It doesn't have to go into our puff pastry. Speaking of which, we should probably take a peek at those puff pastries.
Oh yeah. Is your nose telling you it's time?
Starting to smell. That looks great. That's
It
perfect.
sure does. Beautiful.
So now all we're going to do is deglaze it with a little bit of sherry,
Okay.
And you could use a dry white wine here if you wanted to. It may flare up on you, so just be careful of that. The sherry has a fair amount of alcohol. And then we're going to add a little bit of cream. So we're going to stir in a little bit of Parmesan and a little Face Rock aged cheddar. And then I'm just going to chop a few herbs into it.
Okay.
Just some sage and some thyme. So now we'll move to these.
Okay.
So all we're going to do is just break through that top layer.
Okay.
You just really want to make a pocket for the mushrooms to sit in.
When I come into the store and I see so many beautiful things, there's the deli counter, wherever I'm looking around, though, you guys are creating all that here in-house.
Yes, it's a lot, but we're very proud of it. And living here is a blessing. And, you know, having all of these things come to us, we take a lot of pride in it. It's very important to us that we treat all these products very well.
This goes back in the oven.
Yes.
Okay.
But just look at those. I mean,
They're so
those are just
beautiful.
stunning
Right.
as it is. But yes, I want them to brown just a tiny bit.
Okay.
So like 3-4 minutes in the oven.
All right.
We're good to go.
Pop it in. So you've been with this company for 20 years. I know you've created some incredible recipes. What goes into all that? How do you put them together and what goes into it?
When I'm creating something, I want something to be delicious, of course.
Right.
I kind of have an old world mentality of using few ingredients that are high quality and use them well.
So organ companies will reach out to you with their product and you just design something around that. You come up with a recipe to highlight and feature that, usually also including other organ products?
Yeah, we use local all the time. In our kitchens, we feature it everywhere, all around the store. In our meat departments, of course, produce, our specialty cheese areas. So our bakeries, I mean, we start with, sourcing flour in Oregon, sourcing dairy in Oregon. I mean, we want all of those things. The basic ingredients, we want something good to go in. Yes. So that we have something good come out.
How long do those need to bake? Can we grab them out yet?
I think they're probably about done. Oh yeah, those look
they're
gorgeous.
Beautiful. Wow.
And I always like to finish with just a little bit of fresh herbs over the top.
Okay. All right, I need to try this.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good. This is a perfect fall dish. It's beautiful, it tastes so good, you're so talented. Chef, thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy to do it.